I've had it happen around me. My friends have had strange experiences, even my family have had some strange sort of spiritual experiences. He was having a dream about how him and his friend were talking through a chain link fence. And he said, oh, by the way, don't worry about Thursday. It's absolutely fine. This guy's funeral was on Thursday. And when my dad went to leave, his car wouldn't start and he couldn't get it fixed in time. So he didn't end up going to the funeral. I actually only noticed it because a rat ran across the path as I was walking. So I was a bit like, whoa, there's a rat. And then I looked, oh, there's a dead seagull. And I didn't really consciously kind of take it in. And it wasn't until you were talking about seeing a dead bird and how to you that kind of signaled the end of things, like letting things die, letting things move on. You know, it goes back to the earth, it decays and it, you know, gives energy back into the earth, that kind of thing. I hadn't even spoken to you about the bird. And you brought that up independently from me seeing the seagull. And that moment was a bit like, that's weird, because that literally just happened to me. I've had so many moments where I feel like I've seen something out of the corner of my eye and then I've looked and nothing's there. Big ones when my dog passed away. So many times when my dog wasn't there, I feel like I just see him walking in the room.
Maybe it was his presence just being there and you were just seeing this energy, but your monkey mind wasn't able to quantify and justify what you were seeing, because you're like, oh, he's a ghost. Why would I see that? But if we had that conditioning taken away and we allowed it, we would see. I needed the evidence in front of me to then believe it, because I went down a rabbit hole of learning all the science behind it, learning about the law of attraction, learning about manifestation, learning about the law of vibration. And until I learned the laws properly and understood it and embodied it, that's when I was like, whoa, this is real. Okay, I have the most beautiful guest on today, and I'm so excited for this podcast. This has been a long time coming for us to record this conversation, because we have had some conversations over so many coffees, so many teas, so many classrooms, actually. And this person means a lot to me. I've worked with this person for a very long time, and our bond just was instant, I think. We were sharing things quite quickly into our relationship, I would call it, our friendship. And yeah, I have a lot of love and time and respect for you, and you've brought a lot of joy into my life at moments where I was going through significant life-changing experiences, and you were just there for me throughout all of that. It's like a little grounding moment for me every week with our gorgeous class.
Yeah, that's so nice. I mean, yeah, I'd say the same for you. Like when it was like it's weird that you say that, because when I met you, I just we instantly just clicked. There was something about just the way that we met. Like there was just that energy there. Yeah, it was nice.
If you are new here, my name is Melissa, and I'll do a little quick introduction about who I am and why I started this channel. So I have a huge fascination on spiritual awakenings, the universe, consciousness, neuroscience, human design, gene keys. I love talking about all things spirituality. And I wanted to create a space and a community where people are invited to share their experiences and talk about some experiences maybe they've had in their childhood or that they're going through at the moment, and a place for us to open the conversation, to come out of that spiritual closet. And that for me is a place where I'm going through that at the moment, and that fear of being seen has been quite a prominent thing in my life recently. So I'm moving through that, and that's something that I would love for other people to come out of that with, that confidence of like, it's okay to voice your opinion. It's okay to your opinion is valid, and you're here for a reason. And that's why I started the purpose search. So I have the most beautiful person on today. This is Emily, my good friend.
Hello.
And please explain a little bit about what you do, and yeah, let's go.
Okay. I'm Emily. I'm an actress and a children's drama teacher. Yeah. I you could tell by my cat ear headset here
I'm
that
living for these cat ears. So for those of you that aren't
I know,
watching
it's
the
cute.
video, Emily has got these beautiful pink cat headphones on, and they are just stunning. Where did you even get them?
I think I got them from a friend. I do a lot of gaming, so I kind of wanted some, and my friend got them for me. And to be honest, I've not taken them off much. I wear them all the time. I'm pretty obsessed.
I love that.
I'm not ashamed. I will wear them till
Yes,
like
too right. We shouldn't
till
be
they
ashamed.
break.
You
Yeah.
live that. I'm clicking here for you, sister. You look great. So I wanted to talk a little bit about your star sign and also your human design. So I like to start the podcast with what our star sign is and what our human design is, so that our listeners can also relate as well to people. So what is your star sign?
I'm a Gemini, which I feel like
Oh,
Geminis get a bad rap, okay? Because
why?
like every time, a lot of the times when I tell people I'm a Gemini, there's always like a, ooh,
Really?
okay, yeah. And I can see why, because I've met some Geminis that maybe fit that mold that people have that reaction to. But also I'm like, I love being a Gemini. I don't know what it is about it, but I love it.
I really get along with Geminis a lot. So
Mm.
yeah, no, there shouldn't be any like bad rap about being a Gemini. Being a Gemini is cool. You have like all this like
I have so much
these
energy.
two.
Is how,
You
yeah.
have so much energy. You have all these two sides to everything. Like
Hmm.
yeah, two answers for everything. I heard someone saying on a podcast the other day. I don't know if that's the same with you. Do you have two answers for everything?
I feel like do make a conscious effort to sort of try and think of kind of both sides of a situation. Like I will always kind of put myself in someone else's shoes as best as I can. Whether that's like, you know, an acting thing, I feel like naturally actors can be
Yes.
quite empathetic and that
Yeah.
sort of helps with that craft. But I also think maybe that's just who I am as a person. I'm always trying to
Mm.
think of both sides to make it as fair as I can make it with whatever decision or whatever thing I'm having to decide on or choose between, stuff like that.
I was looking at your chart before this. You're a manifesting generator and you're an emotional authority. So, do you know
Okay.
much about it?
Only the little bits and pieces that you've spoken to me about, but on the whole, not really. So please explain.
Okay, so manifesting generators are really cool human beings where they just have so much life force energy to just do so many different things. And that's what you're designed for. You're designed to be doing the podcast here on the side and the acting theory on the side, and also creating a film with your friend. Like that is just classic manifesting generator. And your hands and your fingers are on like loads of different pies, but you have the energy to do that. But it's
Mm,
also it can also be one of those things where manifesting generators feel like they shouldn't be doing that. They should be focusing on one thing, but that's completely what you're designed to be doing. You focus your energy
mm,
on some. If you feel the energy for that thing, do that thing, and then go on to the next one, and if they will all eventually just align
mm.
and become something. So yeah, just feed
Yeah,
into that energy of like going forward into it. So
that's 100% what I do. Yeah. What I'm hearing is that I'm really cool, is what you keep telling me.
you
So
are
I'm gonna
really
keep that
cool.
one. Um, no, that's 100% what I do. Like, it's very easy to feel like you should be putting your energy into one thing, but then I kind of maybe spread myself out. But maybe that is what I'm meant to do. Yeah, maybe that's the way.
I wanted to share with you what your incarnation cross is for your human design.
Oh, okay.
So, so this is like your life theme and purpose. And so, for those of you that don't know about much about human design, it's the energetic blueprint of why you've been brought to this earth and what your purpose is. And your life theme and purpose is that you're the right angle cross of the sleeping phoenix, 2034, which are your gifts, and 5559. And the explanation underneath is to busy yourself with what makes you happy. Because if you're not busying yourself with what makes you happy, you're inadvertently busying yourself with what brings you down.
Ooh,
How does that
wow.
resonate with you?
Yeah, it's, I think I have those moments that often I do think I just want to have a good time. That is kind of a sentiment that I think a lot, is to just have fun. I just want to have fun. And I even think kind of in the moments where I do feel down, I almost think I find it very easy to kind of exasperate that, if you know what I mean. Like I find it easy to continue being down and doing the things that I almost know would continue that feeling, which is kind of what that's saying. It's like I'm busying myself with things that make me feel low. But when I'm busying myself with things that bring me joy and that make me feel like I'm having fun and having a good time, I'm busy, but it's for good things and for good reasons. But I think it's very easy to be busy for bad reasons and things that are gonna bring you down in that way.
So tell me, what makes you really happy?
I love creating, I think. I think making something, coming up with ideas, bouncing those ideas off of other people. I think I get a lot from spending time with other people. I've noticed that big time. The times I'm on my own, sometimes I sort of don't really know what to do. And I end up kind of pacing around, um, not really knowing, like, I'll go get lunch because it's kind of lunchtime. I'll go do that. And then I come back and I eat my lunch and then I'm sat there again going, well, what do I do now? I don't know. So I think oftentimes I'll listen to music just so it feels like there's another presence there. Or a lot of the times I will call a friend and just talk to them while I'm doing errands or something. I, I just love being around people, creating stuff, bouncing ideas off of people. That feels like to me what fun is.
And also for like generators and manifesting generators, you have this consistent life force energy, which is like almost like pouring out energy all the time. And like, especially when you're aligned, you can just do it for ages and ages and ages and you just won't burn out. Obviously there is like a limit where you will burn out, but
Yeah.
um, compared to like me being a projector, I just can't do that. I need my own
You
time.
need time off. Yeah.
I need like my own space. I need to like go into like this cocoon, this little bubble, and just like flush out all the energy so I can come back to my own energy. And since I've been living in alignment like that, I have
Mm,
felt so much calmer and so much like more
mm.
just,
It just feels right. Yeah. It feels
yeah,
right in your body and you feel
yeah.
comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it's really important to just know what you need. And then
Yeah.
that makes you, all our designs are different. We're designed differently. Our purposes are all different things. And look, my purpose doing maybe this podcast is
Hmm.
completely different for somebody else, or maybe you might have a different
Yeah.
purpose. So,
Yeah. I'm definitely an extrovert. Like there is no part of me that I think is introvert at all. Or I feel like I'm one of those that, it's almost I'm an introvert extrovert where like I
mm,
can be on my own. And when I'm in social situations, I don't often, like sometimes I'm not always the center of the room or always talking, but I can be that. I I can make jokes. I know how to talk to people. I get people in if I see they're sort of like not comfortable joining in. I'm very much that kind of like
mm.
just get everyone involved, get everyone in. That's what I always try and do.
You are such an empathetic person. Like, I feel
Yeah,
like
I really try.
but I feel like you sense it though, you know, and that's like your intuition, which is
Mm,
it's that inner knowing
mm.
of what someone else needs.
I think it's almost that comes from, I've been through a lot of things in my life. Probably not enough time to go through here, but I've been through a lot, and I think I almost have this list in my head of things I never want someone else to feel because of my actions. And so I kind of keep that in there, and I make a conscious effort to not make people feel those things. And I think being included is a big one. I don't want anyone around me to feel like they're not included, or they can't speak, or they can't get involved in some way. So I always try and make that happen.
You're so beautiful.
Oh, too kind. It's
Take
these
the
cat ears,
compliments.
isn't it? It's the cat
Yes.
ears. That's why.
Okay, I wanted to get into the meaty-gritty stuff. Have you ever had a spiritual experience? And if so, when was your first, what was your first one?
I've really been thinking about this. I don't know if I have, but what I'm pretty sure of is that I've had it happen around me in
Yeah.
the way of like my friends have had strange experience, or even my family have had some strange sort of spiritual-esque experiences. But I can't say for sure that I have had one unless it's happened and I've kind of not really noticed it for whatever reason. Yeah. So myself, no, but people around me, yeah.
Can you share some of those?
Yeah, I mean, one of the big ones is with you. I feel like you know what I'm
So
about to
you have
say.
had one then.
Well,
So,
kind of, but it was
so that
more to do with
was
you, I feel.
okay. Tell us a bit about that. I love this
So
story.
I was, I went to meet you, um, because you were staying at a hotel somewhere. And so I sort of wandered around the town we were in for about an hour while you were finishing your singing lesson. And in that time, I called one of my closest friends. I was having a bit of a rough moment. I had like a really bad breakup, and it was all like quite fresh, quite raw. And I was calling her, I was talking to her about it, just sort of like aimlessly wandering around in the vicinity of the hotel you were at. And sort of I didn't even really notice it massively at the time, but there was a dead seagull. This is so grim, actually, but there was a dead seagull. It looked gross. I actually only noticed it because a rat ran across the path as I was walking. So I was a bit like, whoa, there's a rat. And then I looked, oh, there's a dead seagull. Um, and I didn't really consciously kind of take it in. I was more focused on the conversation I was having with my friend. And it wasn't until you'd finished your singing lesson, we went out for a meal, and you were talking about an experience you had about seeing a dead bird, and how to you that kind of signaled like the end of things, like letting things die, letting things move on. It goes back to the earth, it decays, and it gives energy back into the earth, that kind of thing. I hadn't even spoken to you about the bird. And you brought that up independently from me seeing the seagull. And that moment was a bit like, that's weird, because that literally just happened to me while I was like having a really bad time with this breakup, and while all this stuff was happening. It just was really strange, like a really weird coincidence. But I mean, you
Or
don't
was
believe in
it?
coincidences. Exactly. That's what I was going to say. That's what I was going to say. But yeah.
Yeah. I think that was such a beautiful moment, and maybe that meant to happen so that we could talk about it here, so that other people
Yeah.
can see like some coincidences, and I do that in inverted commas, that make us like stop and think for a moment, and reflect a little bit about what's happening, and how we can move forward. It's interesting. I'm hearing the story again because I've heard the story a couple of times.
Probably twice now, yeah.
Yeah, but now like I'm hearing it again, but I'm realizing that it's doing a loop. Like it was like, and you physically were doing a loop. You were like going round and round.
I was just pacing around. Yeah.
Yeah, you were pacing and like walking. And
what's also really weird is that where my ex is from a place by the sea. And so there's seagulls everywhere. And the fact it was a seagull specifically is an interesting one as well. Yeah.
Yes. So significant to that, and like letting it just go, and in letting it just do its thing into the earth, put the energy and the old energy into the earth so that we can
kind of just move on and
let
life do its thing, kind of.
Exactly, and let the new roots and the new buds and the new flowers come out when they need to. So yeah, I love that story. Thank you for sharing that.
It's all right. It's a good one.
Okay, another one that I've thought about, like for me, I've seen some like ghosts when I was younger. But I wonder if you've ever seen any ghosts or beings or...
I've had moments where it's kind of like, I actually think it's in Doctor Who, right? Where he talks about, it's with aliens though, obviously in Doctor Who, but he talks about seeing something out the corner of your eye.
Yeah.
And that's the bit you always kind of like don't think about in your peripheries. Like this, my hand's here, I can only just see it. And it's sort of that place where you kind of see something but don't. I've had so many moments where I feel like I've seen something out of the corner of my eye and then I've looked and nothing's there. Big ones about when my dog passed away, when I would go back home, like for Christmas or for Easter or something, so many times when my dog wasn't there, I feel like I'd just see him walking in the room. And but it almost would catch me off guard because I knew that he wasn't there anymore, but it just, maybe it was because I'm so used to him being there, I don't know, but maybe
it was his presence just being there and you were just seeing this energy, but your monkey mind wasn't able to quantify and justify what you were seeing because you're like, oh, he's a ghost, why would I see that? But if we had that conditioning taken away and we allowed it, we would see if he was going past.
Because I'm definitely open to the idea of there being, ghosts or another sort of realm, that or spiritual thing. I'm open to that idea. Whether I believe in it 100%, I still don't really know. I would like to believe that there is something else, but I'm quite logical brain sometimes. I think it's like the science brain coming in, that kind of thing, where I'm sort of open to it, but it's kind of like I can make logical, or I can kind of excuse it for something else, if you know what I mean.
I empathize with you so much on that because I actually studied microbiology at uni. Did I tell you this?
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh my
God. Yeah, for my first degree, I studied microbiology for 3 years and learned the science and depth of microbes and bacteria and viruses and all of these things, and then realized that wasn't my path, and so I then studied musical theatre and did an MA, and became an actress, and then taught with you and did all this these teachings with all these children, but through my experience with spirituality, like I was like a hardcore atheist, agnostic, like didn't believe in anything. I was like, what is religion? What's I didn't even know the term spiritual. I didn't really understand spirituality. I didn't really get it. My dad was Christian. My mum was Muslim. My dad actually converted to be Muslim to marry my mum. But I was never like forced upon to learn a religion. My dad did say like, come to church with us, and we did go to church at times. But I was always allowed to like have my own mind, and I didn't ever feel like you must pray, you must do this.
You've got to do what we do.
We did pray. Like I'm half Korean, and my dad would sing this beautiful song of prayer before we would eat, and that's a very traditional thing to do before you eat and pray. It was so beautiful, and I still remember the lyrics and the harmonies now, and like do you know what, I actually might start doing that before I eat, just to pray. I do thank my food, and I thank the nutrients that are going to come into my body before I eat, and if I forget as I'm doing it, but that was something that we did as a child, and I really loved that. But there was no like time where I ever thought like bigger, like there's more to life than just what we're living,
Yeah.
until I had my spiritual awakening in 2024. And the science just, I needed the evidence in front of me to then believe it, because I went down a rabbit hole of learning all the science behind it, learning about the law of attraction, learning about manifestation, learning about the law of vibration. And until I really understood all of those, what's the word? Phenomenons?
Yeah. Or like sensations, I guess. Or yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know
Until
what you'd call
till I
it.
learned the laws properly and understood it and embodied it, that's when I was like, whoa, this is real. You just
It's
can't.
weird. I was talking about something kind of similar. I guess it's in the same vein with my friends yesterday, because it's funny how, when someone touches you,
Yeah.
sometimes it feels really comfortable and really normal if someone touches you. But then there are other people that even if they like brush past your arm, there's something there that like just doesn't sit well. Or I've had it before. I have these really big noise cancelling headphones, so maybe I need to be more aware of my surroundings, really. But I've had it before. I've been in the way of someone and they've said, "Excuse me," and I can't hear them. And then they've tapped me on the shoulder and I've been like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, I'll move." But then there's sometimes people do it and it's literally like there's like a shock down my spine that this person's just touched me. But then sometimes people do it and I feel nothing. And it's strange how it's not even like it's because it's someone I don't know. It's just, it's weird. I think people can touch you and it can feel completely different. There's an energy there, there's a whole energy there that is non-verbal. It's all just in the connection. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's vibration and frequency, and they're on a different frequency to you. And you're just not, it's just like this, like,
because it does feel like a shock.
Yeah. Shock.
That's the only way I can describe it, is it's just like it shoots up. Yeah.
Do you have any other experiences, like maybe in your family or?
Yeah. My dad, he's kind of similar to me in the open-mindedness of this sort of thing. He was asleep. It was all in his dream. So he had a friend at work who passed away, and he was having a dream about how him and this friend were talking through a chain link fence. And he kept saying, "Oh, come over and chat to me over here." But his friend was sort of like, "No, I can't. I've got to talk to you from here." And they were having a normal conversation. It was all really nice. And he said, "Oh, by the way, don't worry about Thursday. It's absolutely fine." And my dad kind of didn't know what he meant, but he woke up, didn't think much of it. This guy's funeral was on Thursday. And when my dad went to leave, his car wouldn't start and he couldn't get it fixed in time. Wow. So he didn't end up going to the funeral. And he's kind of always told me that story as a way to kind of consider that there is something else.
Wow. Like, so your dad is quite spiritual.
Yeah, I think he definitely believes that there is something else. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he would tell me that story. I've heard it a couple of times, and
we need to get your dad.
Yeah, get my dad on. He's actually here right now. Bring him in. No. But that one kind of sits with me as well, because it is that feeling of like it's comforting actually, knowing that despite the fact he couldn't make it, his friend might have known and known it was fine. Yeah, it's quite. I quite like it. It's quite sweet.
I love that. I believe that we have a team of light beings and angels, guardian angels, spirit guides, ancestors, and our higher self watching and guiding us to make the highest aligned choices for our higher self. That's what I believe. And it's so beautiful to hear that story, and it just like validates my belief, and makes me really like feel like I can just sit back and just trust in what's happening, and everything is happening for our highest good. So yeah, thank you for sharing that story. I love that. Where can people find more about you if they'd love to like follow you? Or
I am at Emily Sharpe on all platforms, every single one. I'm Emily Sharpe forever and always.
And we'll put it in the show notes.
Yeah.
Okay. And what's one takeaway that you would want the listener to leave with?
Oh, I'd definitely say to kind of think with an open mind and don't shut things down, maybe just because it's not something you fully understand. Just always be open to perceiving the world in a different way. Because you don't learn anything if you shut down. If you think things are one way and you convince yourself it's that way and only that way, there's no growth there. It's all stifled. So
Click,
I
click,
think just
clicks
be
here,
open.
sister.
Always just be open.
Just
Open
be
and
open.
honest. Yeah.
Open and do you know what? That's how I define myself. Open, honest, and direct.
Direct. I
Direct. I
think, yeah,
get.
I mean, yeah, I think that's how you gotta be.
I
Open and
pierce
honest.
through with that
Yeah.
information. I'm like, try and say it in a
Yeah.
nice way, but like, at the end of the day, if we're not open, honest, and direct, like you're
Mm-hmm.
just gonna go around the point and waste time. That's how I view it
Yeah.
anyway. But thank you so much, my dear friend. You are the most beautiful soul. You have the most bright, shining light, and
Oh,
you
thank
keep being
you.
happy and doing things that make you happy because that is your life's purpose.
I will do my very best. I will do my very best just for you.
Oh, I love you so much, and thank you so much for this time.
No, thank you. Thank you for having me.